Three. What's going on, guys? Another Wednesday, another This Week in Sports video, and it's gonna be about two things. I only have two things to really talk about this week. So you see, we're a little more laid back. My I don't have my hoodie on because we're talking about college. We're talking about some college guys. The whole day is about college. The whole day is about college. So let's start with the main event, and then we'll talk about some smaller things. So I don't know how to pronounce dude's name, so I'm just gonna call him Nico. Okay. So for the whole rest of the video, I'm just gonna call bro Nico. So shout out to Instagram. Shout out to TikTok. I think I'm just gonna post this video directly on there. So let's get into it. So Nico plays for Tennessee. They had a 10-3 record. They ran into the buzzsaw known as Ohio State, losing the college football playoff, and here we are. Nico wanted more money. Nico wanted more money, and they were not able to give it to him, and he was dismissed from the program essentially, right? So Tennessee didn't want to give him more money. He wanted more money, and they like, all right, bro, you gone. We don't want you here no more. So if you're asking me off rip whose side I'm on, obviously I'm going to take the player's side, right? But it's not the player's fault that the system is broken. Shout out to Joel Klatt. He talks about this in way more great A detail than I ever could at this point. But he talks about how the system of college football in the NIL is broken, right? So, and this is all sports. This is not just football. So when you talk about NIL, name, image, and likeness, right? It goes back to a time where college players wasn't getting paid. I wrote two of the more significant ones in my lifetime. Todd Gurley, when he was suspended, I can't remember how long he was suspended. I'll have the news articles on the screen. He was suspended for signing his own jersey. The dude was suspended for signing his own jersey. And then Johnny Manziel was suspended for, I think, a half for autographing stuff with his own name. Like, these dudes don't even have their own names back in the day. Like, it was to a point where you couldn't put cheese on a bagel because that's considered a meal, and then that'd have been NCAA violations, right? And so now that they've been forced to pay players, the market is empty. Or not empty. The market is the Wild Wild West, essentially. Whoever can pay me the most money is going to get my services, right? Which is the way it should be. Right? But the problem comes in when players are shortchanging the system like Nico is doing, where he's like, I want more money now or I'm going to leave. I get it. I see why. It's rumors that he had his people in his ear, blah, blah, blah. But I get why he's doing it, but it's just not good for the sport. But like I said, it's not his problem that the system is raised. It's taking advantage of the system. And Tennessee said, no, we're not going to pay him. They're literally hiring GMs now. I think Steph Curry's a GM now. Bill Belichick is a GM. It's one other active player that's a GM for these colleges, right? And it's just the weirdest thing ever, right? So if there's GMs, general managers, which means they're essentially running salary caps, they need a collective bargaining. And I've heard people talk about collective bargaining in college sports already. They need a collective bargaining. If it's not going to be a collective bargaining, and where there are parameters and guardrails and everything to essentially protect players from themselves and protect the NCAA from themselves, which, well, you can get into a whole nother video about how awful the NCAA is. So it's just, then the schedule is all jacked up. Players shouldn't have to leave their schools in the middle of March Madness so they don't miss their window to transfer. Like, you shouldn't be able to transfer in the middle of the spring because you lost your position. Like, and you're still getting paid. Like, there are certain things that I'm not for the players. But who am I to tell them that they can't take advantage of their situations? Nico wanted more money. They don't want to pay him. Now he's just finna go out and look for it. And if he's as good as they say he was, don't watch college basketball or don't watch college sports much. I try my best to watch it when I can, but it's in the middle of the football season, the NFL season. But For what it's worth, he was 2,616 yards, 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, with a 70.5 QBR rating, and Tennessee had a 10-3 record, made the college football playoff. So, and if I'm fudging the college football playoff, excuse me for that. I wanted to record this raw, so it's just. So you like Keith? Ultimately what do you think of Nico? He did what he had to do. He thought he could. What do players do when they need more money? They hold out. You hold out. That's what you do. And essentially, this was his version of holding out. And Tennessee said, "We can do it without you." He said, "Okay, I'm gonna go somewhere else." I mean, what am I supposed? What are you supposed to do with that? What are you supposed to do with that? Until the NCAA comes up with rules and they collective bargaining and treat the game like a professional sport, which it's always been. Big time college athletics has always been a professional sport. Until then, you're gonna get weird things like this. Weird things like this. So I don't feel bad. They didn't pay him. Just like Dak Prescott. When they paid Dak Prescott, he got to live up to that contract. He hasn't lived up to that contract. Now he's not going to get another one. It's essentially the same thing here. Nico wanted more money. They said no. He gonna go out to the free market and see if he can get more money. If he can't get more money, then he might not be able to play football this year. Who knows, right? So that's really all I have on that situation. We're gonna follow Nico. We're gonna follow him and see where he goes because he's also one of us. So um, we're gonna see where he goes, and we're gonna follow him this season and see how this all this shakes out. And so, just a throwaway topic that I found as I was recording: Travis Hunter and Shador are gonna get their jerseys retired at Colorado. That's weird to me. That's really weird to me because it's like I get that they did a lot for the program, but y'all didn't win no championships. Y'all didn't set no records. Like they're great. They're two great players, right? Travis Hunter won a Heisman, best two-way player I've ever seen, right? And I get it, but I don't think them retiring jerseys was worth it. I know that's a Dion thing, right? And I get it, but like I don't think they did anything jersey retire worthy. You can argue Travis Hunter did because he won the Heisman, but to be like we're gonna retire their jerseys is it's just a little weird to me. It's a little weird to me. So let me know what you guys think. Um, Let me know some topics you guys want me to cover. So, because it's dead of summer, right before draft. We're gonna get into a lot of draft stuff the Wednesday before the draft, and I can't wait. I think that's next week. So I'll see you guys next week. Peace.